on another sunny day in the village here. It looks like it's sunny everywhere else. I know it's late night for Megla there. Jana, I'm sure it's sunny out there in, where are you? Tell the audience where you are.
I'm in Belgrade in Serbia.
I know you're in Serbia, but I was just seeing if you're in Belgrade or you're out at one of your fancy homes across the country.
No, I'm in Belgrade in my apartment.
With no
balcony,
okay.
So yeah.
With no balcony. Okay, I'm just going to get the violins out. Yeah, I see pictures last week.
Yeah,
you had a
the
good
little
time.
Violin is playing.
Just for you. Kat, how you doing?
I am melting in England.
Yes. Is that are you doing a stepping out of salon advert with the wind machine, or is that a fan that's blowing?
You know what? That is just a fan. I'm not trying to be glamorous. I'm just bloody melting in England, which is something that was not part of my marriage contract. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, like you, my aircon, DPD is meant to be delivering my new aircon system between 3:18 and 4:18. So I might need to go to the front door, and that's how you can tell it's live. Right. So let's go around the room. Kicking off first, Megla, would you like to do an introduction, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, this is Megla in Singapore. My background is mostly in sourcing. I worked for Global Sources for almost 20 years. And recently I started this trip to India called India Sourcing Trip. And I also run virtual trade shows every month.
Excellent. And moving over to Kat.
I'm a seller, clinical psychologist, title leader, mom full-time, try to be a teacher, not working really well. Yeah.
Excellent.
And customer is my yum at the moment.
We've got a little bit of wind on your mic. Could you get a little bit closer to the mic? Could that be possible? So we can hear a bit better. That's better. Thank you. And Jana, of course, the boss lady. Talk to us. Tell everyone about yourself.
I'm the owner of Wild Tea Translations. We do translations and basically everything you need when you expand to international marketplaces. And also, I've been in e-commerce for more than 10 years. I was also working as a business development manager at one of the leading e-commerces in Scandinavia. And I'm really, really pumped to talk about the international, scene of the e-commerces in Europe, and to share some really cool information I have about that today.
Excellent. Sounds good. So the overview here, what I want to do, because Kat's got to jump on to do another call. Jana, you're going to lead in certain areas here. Megla, you're going to be talking a lot about Singapore. You've worked with Amazon over there. You've hosted webinars with them. So you've got a lot of scope on Singapore. But because Kat's only got a short time on the call, I wanted to kick off and talk about Mexico. Obviously, a lot of people sell on the US platform, very, very mixed results with Canada. And you very rarely hear about people selling on Mexico. And if they do, it's very small amounts. So Kat, do you want to give us a rundown of the knowledge you've been gathering and the people you've been speaking to in and around Mexico, and of course yourself?
Yeah, well, we have heard a lot about people actually trying to, whether it's through the North American program, through Amazon itself, or through having inventory store in Mexico itself and tackle that market. It was going really well until COVID hit, and I was just speaking to Danny earlier on that actually the culture in Central and South America, even though Mexico is North America, some may disagree with that, but it is. The culture right now, it's of basic needs and survival, food, and basic things to just get by. The resources are nowhere near the amount of resources that we have in countries such as the USA, Canada, the UK even. People are not getting any kind of bonuses. People are just getting a very, very hard time. Therefore, buyers are not they're not at home or purchasing online. It's one of the markets where growth, I do not think is going to be seen. And maybe consumables if the prices are competitive, but I doubt it will be in any of the other markets that has seen a massive explosion within Amazon marketplaces. If anything, now is the time for those countries. And, the same happened with earlier on. I am from Chile originally, and I was very hopeful that Amazon South America was actually going to open shop there. Because obviously I already...
Kat, sorry, Anna Isabel saying here, could you move the fan away a little bit because she can't, it's going across the mic.
It's off now.
There you go. We don't want you sweating, obviously, live on camera, but
Sorry.
we can hear you clearer now. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that. So what I was saying is that I was very hopeful that Amazon was going to open shop down in Chile. It was one of the countries they were considering. I think they decided to go with Colombia or Costa Rica, not Colombia for sure. So that didn't happen, unfortunately. And I was hoping it was going to open to the South American market that has been untouched. But again, right now, from relatives to people I work with, to people that work with the government of Central American countries that I know, we all agree that it's not the time to actually expand to that kind of market unless you have consumables, because it won't take off at the same level of potential that it had last year, for sure. So, yeah.
So the full summary here, not worth selling on, considering how long it's been around. I mean, it's been around, 7-8 years you've been able to sell through Amazon on Mexico. I don't know that many people have had results. More than likely, if anyone's had some niche results, it's come through Canada. So what would you say next steps now of anyone who's thinking about using Mexico as a marketplace? Is there anything specific? Is it like really niche down and really understand things culturally? There are the items that they're really going to buy and that they're going to be essential goods effectively.
Well, the truth is that the problem with e-commerce is not necessarily the fact that prices are prohibitive. It's the fact that the logistics of delivering such products to the areas where people may potentially buy them is not quite as strong as to people to trust them just yet. I know that a lot of people simply don't buy online because they don't have a good experience with the delivery of such products. So until that actually strengthened, I don't see the market changing as it has in some other countries that already have, logistics in place to happen, or that people had a little bit more experience, just hadn't actually necessarily purchased online before. As opposed to the UK, where people are buying more online, but they also always have trusted the delivery system, right? The Royal Mail or not. That doesn't exist in South America. In fact, I don't even send presents to my family because I know they will never get it. Right. They just never got it, will never get it, and just the way it is. So until that is sorted, I don't see people moving online to make purchases that are not necessary, or big appliances or oversized things that need to be delivered.
That makes sense. Cool. So I think we've kind of covered a lot on Mexico there. I know that you said about shooting off, but you're more than welcome to stay on the call and join in conversations on other areas. Let's move over to Megla. Before I do, I want to say a quick hello to everyone in the feed, and then we can talk a bit about Singapore, and then Jana can go across the broad stretch of the marketplaces that she has data on as well. So Sai says, good afternoon from a super hot Somerset. Facebook user says hello. Anna says, maybe she moved a bit away from the fan. Yes, so much better now. Phil Rambicon, how you feel? I haven't seen you for a long time. Very, very good songwriter and musician from my music industry days is on the call. That's an amazing topic. Excited to hear more about that. We've got a thumbs up here, or actually it says a banana skin, and then whatever that means. And then we got Owen Burrows, Aiden, my good friend. Hi, Danny. Hi, Jana. And obviously he missed your name, Kat, but I'm sure maybe he just wrote that in black on the white background there on the bottom of the page, but I'm sure he's showing you some love. Megla, your hair has gotten long. This is from Anna as well. Right. Okay. That's a really rounded set of comments there we've gone through. Megla, talk to me about Singapore.
So Singapore is a very unique marketplace. It's one that Amazon is really paying a lot of attention to, and for a couple of reasons. So, first of all, Singapore is a small market. It's not a very big market. It's about 6 million population over here. However, e-commerce penetration is really high. So it's about 70%, almost 70% of people over here, they actually shop online. Now, there are a couple of different marketplaces that are very, very popular here. One is Lazada, which is actually owned by Alibaba. And Lazada is actually linked to Taobao, which is Alibaba's marketplace in China. So a lot of the stuff that you order on Lazada from here actually comes from China. And it's, way cheaper than anything you can get on Amazon or anywhere else, because it's coming directly from China, from manufacturers. And then there are a couple of other marketplaces like Shopee and Q10 that are also very popular over here. So Amazon has a lot of competition. However, Singapore is a very, very important market for Amazon because it's sort of their gateway to Southeast Asia. So as you guys know, Amazon was not very successful in China. They had to quit China a couple of years ago, and because there was just so much competition from Taobao. So that's why they're really focusing a lot on Amazon. And I mean, they haven't said this aloud, but from whatever they're doing and the discussions that are happening over here, it really looks like their success in Southeast Asia kind of depends on how Singapore does, how the Amazon Singapore marketplace does. There's a lot of high brand awareness for Singapore over here. For Amazon in Singapore overall. So a lot of people actually shop from Amazon.com. In fact, at a recent webinar that we did with Amazon Singapore, they shared that Singapore is the world's third biggest export destination from Amazon.com. So there's a lot of products already coming in from there. Also, Prime membership is very high over here, and Prime membership is very cheap. It's actually just $2.99 Singapore dollars. So a lot of people, hundreds and thousands of people, that's what they said, they have Prime membership over here. Also, the team here, the Amazon Singapore team, is giving a lot of support to sellers and encouraging them to sell on the marketplace, because what's happening is that there are currently not a lot of products on the marketplace, but Amazon is also not going all out and advertising the marketplace over here. Like, you don't really see, ads on TV or on the radio or whatever. They're not going all out right now. But what they're focusing on first is to get enough products on the marketplace. And then once they have that, then, there might be a tipping point where they start going all out with their advertisements and all, and trying to drive more traffic to the marketplace overall. So their focus currently is on getting more sellers and more products on the marketplace, and they've done a couple of things to attract more sellers. So first of all, the professional fees is waived until the end of this year, so you don't have to pay any professional fees, and then you don't have to pay for deals. You can, once you start selling your products, you can contact your account manager and set up deals. And you get an account manager. I don't think there are many marketplaces where, even if you're new on Amazon, you get an account manager. But that's what happens here. Each person is assigned an account manager, and they're quite proactive. And then the team over here also does a lot of webinars, and they've got a Telegram group where they engage with sellers. So overall, they're trying to, work with the community. They work with, they did a webinar with me, trying to reach out to sellers. There's a couple of other trainers here that they work with. So they're pretty proactive. Also, the referral fee for Amazon is lower. It's 6 to 10% for most categories. So compared to the US, where it can go up to 15% or so. So currently, that's pretty low. And of course, FBA is available. So if you are, an overseas seller, it's very convenient. So I think if you, if overseas sellers want to sell on Singapore, this is a good time to start exploring the marketplace. However, don't expect to make hundreds and thousands of dollars immediately. So you might get the early mover advantage, but you've got to be very careful with the types of products that you send in. And you've got to go slow, and you've got to be patient. So that's what I think overall, that's kind of an overview of what Singapore is right now.
And do you see, because obviously you've seen other rollouts on the platform, I have not really seen Amazon they're aggressive when they get into the countries, but with the sellers, their onboarding doesn't always seem to connect with people. You see, when they're trying to bring people to Europe, they're banging the drum on, dangling the carrot on certain deals. But it seems like, if you've got an account manager, especially if you're not selling much in the way of products, that's normally related to people with some serious volume. What can you see there in terms of the onboarding? Can you see it quite quickly building up over there?
Yeah, I think the onboarding is building up. And more importantly, I see support after people have started selling or listed their products. Yeah. So, for example, my account manager, she's reached out to me a couple of times, and she said that, hey, do you want to do a deal? And, we've got Prime Day coming up, so I'm going to submit these products for you, and let me know if you want these products to be submitted for Prime Day, and, make sure you have enough inventory and blah, blah, blah. So I think they're being proactive after the sellers are approved and they've listed a product.
Yeah. Any restrictions on approvals over there? Is it hard to get on the platform externally from different territories?
No, it's not hard to get on the platform. Of course, you need to do all of your document verification and everything, but you can use your account. If you have an account in the US or any other marketplace, you can use that account. And there are a couple of categories that are not yet available here for FBA sellers. So, for example, fashion. That's not apparel, fashion. They're not selling that yet. It's mostly home products, sports goods, and electronics, those kinds of products that are more accessible.
Cool. So if you were going to sell it to people to join over in Singapore and going on the platform, what were some of the steps that you would suggest that they take?
Yeah. So first of all, what I would suggest is, set up an account on Amazon Singapore, of course, and use your current Amazon account. And then try to do a bit of research on what products to sell. I think that is so important because, the category that I'm selling in is supposed to be a high demand category, but I'm not very excited about the sale so far. So it is definitely a slow moving market. You have to keep in mind that in Singapore, of course, as I mentioned, they have easy access to Lazada and Shopee and Q10 and all of the cheap Chinese kinds of products. So if you're going to be selling silicone baking mats on the Singapore marketplace, you're not going to sell too much of those because, they're going to get them much cheaper from Lazada. And even though the shipping may take a couple of weeks or so, but people are over here very price conscious and they do a lot of price comparison on different marketplaces and then decide where to buy from. So that would be the other thing. Be very careful about the products that you choose. There are no tools that work here currently. So Helium 10, Jungle Scout, you don't have those kind of tools. However, however, the team here, they really do want to have those tools. And in fact, they asked me to introduce Bradley from Helium 10 to them, and they're probably having a discussion. But then the problem is that because there's not too much volume, these tool providers, they're not very keen on
Well, the easy thing is brand analytics. If they can, obviously set the account up first. As long as you can attain brand analytics, you can go through there and do search on certain keywords and try and understand, extrapolate the frequency there and get just a general idea what sells. What it's not easy on the smaller marketplaces because of the distribution of volume. But generally, if the keywords are there, you can get an idea as like whether it's worth selling or not. As we know, is if you can't find any search terms in your brand analytics report on a super small marketplace like that, then the chances are it's not going to be a product worth selling. Because in most cases, like in the US, if you do searches on brand analytics and you are not finding the keywords, your keywords that you want to find in the brand analytics reports, anything out of that is going to be 10 searches a day or less. And that's the US, and you extrapolate partly that for the UK and parts of the EU like Germany, right? But in the smaller markets, obviously that game changes as well because the volume is so tiny. It's very, very hard to read. So I think anything that registers in the brand analytics report, especially if there's a handful of keywords there that you can work between, that would give an indicator of variation on the keywords that they got, but not a great determination. But obviously you want to check your products that are relevant for that marketplace before. And I've always said, there's no point selling taco holders in Germany because there's no search volume, and culturally they don't have Taco Tuesday, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jana, let's come to you. You got quite a spread there of the different markets. Do you want to run through some of the data for me and the ones that you're covering?
Yeah, sure. I would not talk too much about like the German market, the UK marketplace and stuff, because I think that's pretty much covered, and I think people know a lot about those. But what's very, very interesting is that the increase of the e-commerce sales and the purchases that the buyers were doing was up by 13% in Spain and in Italy, which is quite interesting. And when you compare that to France, France is like 10% and Germany is around like 7%. So I would say that Italy and Spain, being like two smaller marketplaces, like up until now, they might be, evolving into something much bigger. And I think a lot of people, they kind of, because before you would hear like, I want to start with Germany, like UK and France, and that's it. I think that now people start seeing potential in the Spanish and Italian marketplace in Europe. And I want to touch a little bit on the Dutch marketplace. I think this was like a really interesting marketplace to begin with. We've had like tons of inquiries about that, but none of like the sellers I've been talking to have actually had any like tremendous sales over there. Helium 10 has just recently rolled out the keyword research tool for the Dutch marketplace, but I think it's still in beta because you don't get like any amazing results. But I think it's good that they rolled out that, so probably it's going to get better in time. But none of the sellers have made like any like amazing sales. And one of the reasons for that is also because what Catherine was talking about. Dutch people, they like to buy locally. They like to buy from local marketplaces. They have this bol.com marketplace, and I just don't think that Amazon got their trustworthiness. I don't think that they want to go and buy from Amazon. I think they want to stick to their own domestic website. Also, what is very important, PPC hasn't still rolled out for Dutch marketplace. It was set to be rolled out for the end of this year, but I mean, we'll see what happens with that. I think that would change things a lot, but it's very important to just not like go all in for the Dutch marketplace, because like now it's August, we're almost like like close to Q4, and nobody has had any amazing results. So I think that this is something that you shouldn't probably consider if you know that you have a specific product for that marketplace. I would not recommend going to Dutch marketplace just because it's new. Of course, it's good to be like the first seller on a marketplace having a new product, but I don't think maybe this year like it's not been good for the Dutch marketplace. So yeah, I would say like for the European marketplaces, definitely a huge increase. Like 13% is insane for Spanish and for Italian marketplace, like in overall e-commerce. But what is very, very interesting also, I think, as Magla said, the Singapore, Amazon Singapore, and I would also add Amazon UAE. UAE is also like small. I mean, Dutch marketplace is also small, but like people have like population is like in UAE is around 9 million. And but Amazon.ae, it holds between like 12 and 15% of the marketplace share in UAE. But it's still dominated by noon.com. Because I think that people would still, purchase over there because of the faster shipping, delivery time, and stuff like that. But I saw somebody mention here, I think Anne Isabel, she asked about expats in Singapore. And that's a very, very important thing for UAE, because there are a lot of expats over there. I think there's like 80% of population in UAE are expats, and those are people who travel all the time. So like if you have the categories is like home decor and stuff like that, this is something that people would be searching for buying and purchasing. And you don't have that many products over there, you don't have that many categories rolled out, but this like category in this niche should be potentially very, very good, I think. And of course, everybody over there, they're on a hunt like for like lower prices. And I think that if Amazon can offer them a lower price for the same thing they can buy in the store, I think that they would just people would decide to go that with Prime and get free delivery, like convenience before, and a fair price would be something which would be very crucial for the audience over there. But I think that like in categories such as like I don't know, like pillows or like photo frames and stuff like that, I think that will be a very, very good niche for UAE marketplace until they, of course, expand or add more products and stuff like that. So I think it could potentially be a very good marketplace. I haven't also heard anything about a lot of sales, but I think that for all of these marketplaces, it takes years to develop a little bit, because when Amazon entered like Germany and Spain and France, it was like only Amazon. And now like from all of these other countries, people are just gonna used to buying from their local marketplaces. So Amazon is like kind of like, and here we have Amazon. And so people are like, well, okay, here's Amazon, but it's just nothing too like new and like, I don't know,
it's not
mind-blowing.
ubiquitous there. It's not,
Yeah, exactly. So people are just gonna use like to buy like stuff from their own marketplace. So I just think it takes a lot of time, and Amazon will definitely have to work on, like the delivery and step up the game. It's not like Amazon is here and everybody's just gonna start buying from there. But I definitely see a big potential. And also when talking about UAE, which is the first marketplace to like, as Singapore opened the doors to Southeast Asia, this is something for this part of the world. And after that, Amazon Saudi Arabia opened its door as well. And I don't have a lot of information about this because I don't know any sellers actually selling on Saudi Arabia. But this marketplace is basically 3 times bigger than UAE. And I think it has huge potential. Also, it's available in English and in Arabic, as the UAE is as well. As Megla also said, no keyword research tools and stuff like that. But as you, Danny, said, like brand analytics, you can use like keyword planner and stuff for the time being. I'm sure you can get some like main keywords. At least you can put them in the title and just see how it goes. And just like kind of take it from there. So basically right now it's all kind of A/B, testing. It's also like, knowing if you have the right product. And I think that's really important. But I think that these new marketplaces, they have for now, I think they have really big potential because of the like the population and the internet sales and how much money do people spend. Like this penetration is quite high and stuff like that. So that's kind of outside of the EU what might be interesting. And I would just like to talk about something which absolutely, I think by now, like everybody knows about Amazon Sweden, that Amazon has rolled, they have announced actually, Amazon Sweden. So Amazon Sweden, I was really happy to hear about this because I was working in Denmark for one of the leading e-commerce marketplaces, and Scandinavia, especially Sweden, they have their own kind of e-commerce culture. So they're not like, Germany and France, like buying from like Amazon and stuff like that. They have like very highly developed their own like websites, like like IKEA, H&M, Nelly.se. These are all places where people are used to buying. But the important thing is that all sales literally like come from like 94% are internet sales in Sweden, which is amazing. And people should just know that in Sweden they use Swedish crowns, even though they're part of the EU, that they don't use euros. So that could be a little bit different, and like in terms of like currency exchange, you could like lose some money and stuff like that if you're wiring to your US or pound bank account. And it's important to know like what the categories like would be. For instance, it's interesting for Sweden, and overall in Swedish e-commerce, it's like clothing and footwear is about 40%. Then it's like beauty products, healthcare, and then like books and media. But home furniture, of course, is very popular. I think IKEA has a lot to do with that. So I also think these are, some of the categories that might be like super interesting for online sales. And I think that, so I think Amazon announced like a Dutch marketplace at the end of December. I think it took Amazon about 6 months to completely roll out the marketplace. So I think that we can expect like Amazon Sweden to be rolling out in the next like 6 or 7 months. So probably by like beginning of 2021, I would say that will be available, because if you go at amazon.se, you will still get redirected to German Amazon, because this is where everybody was buying from. I just think that if Amazon wants to win over the Swedish customers, that they really have to put like low prices, fast delivery. They really have to like offer something like top notch, because like Swedish customers are kind of spoiled. They have their own thing going on. for so many years. But I think that, like a population of like 9 million people, where 94 internet sales are made like per year, that's absolutely insane number. And I think that it's 8.24 billions in 2019. That's an insane number on 9.6 million people made.
Yeah.
So I just think it's a very, very good marketplace, like potentially very good. It's much different than the Netherlands. You might ask, like, so what's the difference? Why would they buy? Would they not? Because it's much bigger. And I think Scandinavians also, they love kind of this like American culture. They love all these like, things coming from like the West, especially from the States. Like Amazon is quite kind of big. And I was also talking to some of my Swedish friends, and they're like, do you know Amazon is coming? Like, I think there's like a hype going on because Amazon is entering the marketplace.
Yeah.
And I just read in this chat today, I don't know who was saying that, but they said that the 24 categories were rolling out, and that there was going to be, that they have got confirmed for one warehouse near Stockholm. For that, that's like all that's been confirmed for now. But I think that things are, rolling out pretty quickly, and we should soon see, like some availability happening over there. And also I want, sure.
No, I was going to say, just on the Sweden thing, I was just thinking back there. I DJ'd there about 20 years ago. It is literally like in a real life Instagram. I've never seen so many good looking people, men and women, all tall, absolutely stunning, good looking people. And it was just amazing to look out on that dance floor. It was like a model convention. If you could get Instagram today, Instagram is like Sweden. I don't know if anyone's been there, but I was gobsmacked.
I've been there.
Yeah,
I love Stockholm. Like Stockholm is absolutely insane. I love it.
Will you back me? Is that everyone in Sweden is like stunningly looking, like pound for pound? That you just walk and you're like, how can there be so many attractive, good-looking, tall people, blonde? It's just like unbelievable. Anyways,
talk about.
Sorry, lost. What's that? What's that?
Can I just? I said, talk about going on a tangent.
Yes, that was on a tangent. Yeah, I thought I had to get out of that country pretty sharpish. But yeah, go on. Yeah.
Can I, something that but with regards to products, as a woman shopping in any of this country, and I have to say, Netherlands or Sweden, yes, women are beautiful and men are very stylish. And the word I will use to describe both their looks and their shopping is effortless. Everything looks so like, I just
I agree.
this on.
That's like the Scandinavian like style. It's like, I'm not gonna brush my hair, but it's gonna be like chic. It's gonna be like that's fine. Like they're kind of really laid back like that.
Yeah. Well, Alan says here. Totally
that's also
agree.
my style.
Yeah, Alan says, totally agree. It's like watching a tennis match where they're all stunning women just everywhere. So obviously guys playing tennis as well. But no, I'd never seen anything like it. I flew in there there's a guy called Rennie Pilgrim. We're both DJing there, and we're like, mate, we've got to get out of here soon. We don't see, we're not meant to be here. It's just unbelievable. It's like a real life Instagram. Go on.
But what you're saying with regards to products is very true, because these countries, they're used to different kind of, they don't just furnish the house like you will do in this south of the States or in cottage like in the UK. Everything also what's taking off in the States, home decor market as of now, like the and all of those things. So there is a big element that Jan is bringing into the table with regards of the culture of each one of these marketplaces and what are people really into. And even if we don't have the tools, I was going to ask Megla, for instance, does the all 999 inventory trick work? I mean, how do you know what are people truly into if you've never been to the country? How do you go about, I've been to Singapore, but I don't know what people will necessarily find of, they will be proud to say, I bought.
Right. It's tricky. It's not easy. So, there are a couple of different things that you could do. So first of all is the bestsellers list, the Amazon Singapore bestsellers list. I think that's a good place to start, to just get an idea of what exactly people are buying. And then there are other things like the Singapore team actually gives out reports. So every month they send out a report telling you, listing the top keywords and maybe some product categories. So that's, something they do. For example, in the webinar that I did with them, they mentioned a couple of categories that are selling really well. So there's toys, office products, sports, home, kitchen, electronics, consumables. So those kinds of categories were doing quite well. And then there were also things like smart home products. They were quite popular. And then appliances and home organization is really popular here because most people live in apartments, and they have less space in the apartment, and they don't have huge gardens, for example. They don't even have balconies mostly, Yana. So yeah, so you have to keep that in mind. You're not going to be able to sell any gardening products, for example. Yeah, and then there are also websites that you can go to see what products are trending. There's like a couple of Singapore-focused websites that talk about trends and products and the culture over here. And then you can also go to other websites like Lazada, Q10, Shopee, and see what's selling there. On some of these websites, they actually have they list the number of items that have been sold, or the top products or hot products that are selling. So that kind of gives you an idea. But yeah, it's tricky. It's not easy if you're not staying here, and sometimes it's just a hit or a miss, right? Even for people who are staying here, it's a hit or a miss because we don't know what people are shopping on Amazon for specifically. They are definitely shopping a lot of stuff. I mean, people here are very savvy. They really shop a lot on online, but yeah, they're definitely price conscious. I mean, that's something that you have to keep in mind. So, maybe something that's made in Australia or made in New Zealand or made in, Europe, that would sell well over here as well. People are eco-conscious. So if there's something that's eco-friendly, that would do well as well.
So should we wrap on Poland and the Czech Republic, Jana?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I think there was also a lot of discussions about when is the Polish marketplace and Czech rolling out, and since forever you've had to register VAT for when registering for the Pan-European program, and I think that now finally by end of this year, I've heard rumors that they're going to roll out the Polish marketplace and the Czech one, and it's really interesting because actually the Czech marketplace or e-commerce is the fastest growing e-commerce marketplace in Europe. Not Poland, but Czech Republic. And that's quite interesting because it increased by 16%. And that's absolutely insane. But when it comes to Czech Republic, I would just one thing, and what I also noticed, because we also had tons of those conferences in Prague, is that they like to use cash. I think that people are used to and comfortable using credit cards and online payments, even though it's very it's rising, but that's because a lot of people have not been using any sales internet channels or anything to buy and purchase the products from. And I just think they kind of recently understood that they should buy that way. So I think that probably next year is going to be even bigger. And then at the end of next year, they might be at the level where, I don't know, Poland is or something like that. So that's quite interesting. It's that has the biggest rise, but still not on the level as Poland or other European countries. And when it comes to Poland, I think there's 77% of internet sales are made through the internet users, and there's 11.6 billion in e-commerce sales, which is a lot. And basically, Poland has so many online shops. Has around 12,000 online shops, and Allegro.pl, which is a really a big marketplace. It actually is in the top 10 of the world marketplaces, and it has 160 million visits or something like that. And it's quite close to actually what Megla mentioned, Shopee, the Singaporean marketplace, and Tmall. It's just right after them. So there are so many people buying from there. And so they also have like this e-commerce culture, and 4% of all retail sales in the country come from e-commerce in Poland. So it's absolutely, insane. And I think that like one of the really good, signs we can see from all of these new marketplaces is that Zalando, of course, a very famous marketplace, in June, they entered Poland, Sweden, and Spain as new marketplaces. So they obviously thought it's going to be like a great, deal to expand over there, especially as I mentioned, like with a 13% growth on Spanish and Italian marketplace. So I think that Poland can also offer a lot of very good opportunities. People are also used to buying over there. There's also, I think, huge penetration at them as well. So I think that Poland would be the next big thing with Sweden together. And for Czech, I think we'll still have to wait and see for the marketplace to develop. But I think right now it's going it's going that way. It's going very, very well.
Sounds good. I think that's a good point to wrap on. Final thoughts as we go around the room from everyone, starting with you, Megla.
Yeah, I think Singapore is definitely a marketplace you should consider. And, just be careful of the products that you sell here, and don't send in a very big shipment. Just, send in a small product, especially if you have a brand and a product that is manufactured outside of China. I think that would be really good. So if it's manufactured in, US or Australia, New Zealand, even India. So consider that for sure. And also keep in mind that there are a lot of regulations that you need to follow over here. So, for example, electronics products, they need certain certifications. So that's a bit tricky. And then there are some products that are restricted. Don't sell chewing gum. Chewing gum is banned over here. And there's some other products as well that they're, very particular about. Food products, health-related products, you do need certification. So just be cautious of that. So start with something simple, maybe a home product, or cosmetics are very popular here as well, and especially Korean brands for some reason. But then, even US brands. So that's something to consider. Of course, you need some certifications and all for that. But otherwise, I think it's a great marketplace, and it's also going to be a gateway to Southeast Asia. I think that's very important. So if you want to play the long-term game, then it's definitely worth your time, and worth doing the research and testing things out now, because Southeast Asia countries like Thailand, Vietnam, Philippines, they're huge. E-commerce is growing there, and overall, I think there's a population of about 600 million in Southeast Asia. So that's the bigger market that you want to really target, eventually.
Yeah.
So that's something to consider as well.
Sounds good. Kat?
I would just say that with regards to my experience and the culture I was born in, there's still a lot of money in South America. So if you haven't opened the ability to export your product from the US market, I will definitely do it, because people are either now really struggling or doing really well. That's one of the things that characterizes Central and South America, is that there is no middle point. You're either really struggling or you're doing really well, and those doing really well are actually purchasing more and importing things into to give that something different, or just to get the latest tech or whatever. And it's a lot of treaties as well with the US with regards of tariffs. So it's very convenient for us from South America to order something from the US, and the other way around as well. But and also if you are selling anything that could be used to make money, so I don't know, taco holders in bulk for Mexican people that are now having to pull their tables out in the street to sell tacos to passerbys, which is a thing, do so and open your international shipping options, because at the end of the day, it's not you paying for them, right?
Yes.
And it could be, but it's been really interesting to get to know Jana and Megla's point as well.
Cool. Jana, do you want to finish up?
Yeah, sure. So I would also agree with Megla. I just think that, if you want to enter these new marketplaces, I just really think that you should kind of do the research a little bit on the categories, because not all categories are going to be rolled out on all marketplaces. Usually like beauty and health products are doing like very good on all marketplaces. And I think if you have something like that, you should, give it a go. But I think that you should not at all costs, like, let's do it, because we still don't know how this is going to work. I really think that Sweden is going to be very, very good marketplace. I really know a lot about the culture and a lot about the Scandinavian countries, and I just think that it's going to be very good. And I'm really curious to see how Amazon is gonna in this whole like e-commerce jungle, which is over there, how is it gonna like thrive and survive, or like what is it gonna happen with that? So I would just say that people should think through like what do you want to go, like, I'm gonna go all in and this is it. I just think you should step back and think a little bit, because if somebody said in the comments, it's gonna cost you a lot of money. It's gonna take a lot of more of your time. So like you have to have like some sort of like a mini business plan if you're gonna go into all of this, and if you want to do things the right way, definitely. And I would also say like for Swedish marketplace or for Polish and stuff like that, I think you can just first try with English if you don't want to invest in any other localization and stuff. Especially for Sweden, like they speak English as like basically their own native language. I've never seen anybody in Scandinavia struggle with English, honestly. I spent a lot of my time in my life there. And I would say like, you can go English, and then you can like in time you can translate that or localize it to Swedish language.
Cool. Just want to add there as well. I had a conversation with Gary Wang today. You're on the lineup as well. So I've just been added. And so next week is going to be the 7-figure summit. I think it's their third one that they're doing.
Yeah, it's the third one. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's 30 plus 7-figure sellers on there, service providers, etc. I have been drafted in this week, so I've been included in the lineup alongside Michelle Barnum-Smith, all the regular names that you know, Lee Van Hershcorn, Brandon Young, Tim Jordan, of course, Mike Jackness. Who else is on there? There's yourself. Egler is on the lineup as well. Who else have we got? I'm just looking at the pictures now. Destiny Wishon has been added to the lineup. Sharon Evan, a regular on the show, of course yourself. Chris Davies on there. I'm trying to look at a few more of these faces that I recognize.
Emma Sherman Tamir as well.
That's true. We've also got, who else have we got? Cassandra from Helium 10 will be on there as well. So yeah, lots of people on there. So check that out. That will be running next week. For the rest of the shows this week, tomorrow I have Rich Goldstein coming in to talk to us about where patents have gone wrong. So we'll have some funny stories there. And then on Thursday is the special, because Thursday we do our in-depths, and this week Kat will be joining me and we'll be charting her history as well. Megla, how can people reach you?
The best way to reach me is to join my Facebook group. So just search for Sourcing from India, Amazon FBA private label, and join the group.
Excellent. Kat?
It will be Kata, that's K-A-T, at titanmembers.com.
Yana?
Or Facebook.
Yeah.
Or Facebook.
Well, Facebook, LinkedIn, or my email, jana@ylt-translations.com.
Cool, guys. I'll see you again soon. Thank you for everyone that joined us today. Great panel, some really good information there. I'll see you back here 4 p.m. BST tomorrow. Take care, look after your family, and I'll see you soon. Bye.
Take
Thanks,
care, guys.
Danny.
Bye,
Thank you.